Tuz Biber FM.
Hello, can I see your passports, please?
All right, welcome to the Passport Comedy Podcast. I'm Leon Sandler, and today I'm joined by my co-host
Murat Gençoğlu.
and our guest.
Nitinn Mirani.
Yay,
All right,
welcome.
that's right.
You guys forgot my name, did you?
Yeah, I was like, he's gonna
monkeys.
tell me if I just
I
robbed him.
tattooed your name actually to my
That was
forearm.
you?
No, this is the trick. I'm like everything. I'm not gonna add because everything I need to know he'll tell me on the podcast. So Nitinn, where are you from? Could you tell the audience where you're from, and could you give the audience a little bit of background about yourself?
Sure. Google me.
Yes.
No, okay. So
How do you
basically,
spell your name?
that's the easiest way. Basically, I'm from Dubai. I grew up in Dubai. I'm Indian, so I'm a Middle East. I am an Indian from the Middle East.
Cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was my time. You've been a great audience.
That was it. That was the point of Passport Comedy Podcast.
If you want to see more of Nitann's comedy, find out how to
I
spell
could
his
feel
name.
your assholes go
Yeah.
as soon as I said that.
An Indian from the Middle East, and there's nothing more I can say about that as a white guy.
I can blow up your internet.
And provide tech support after.
After-
Right,
blowing
tech
up.
support, or just constant spamming of comments for cute babies. No, we're gonna cut that.
As a matter of fact, one of my jokes when I
Sweet
when
baby girls.
when I perform in the US, one of my opening jokes is that, whenever I fly into New York or the US in general, they look at my passport and they say, oh, so he's like, where are you from? I said, I'm from Dubai. He's like, no, but where are you from? I grew up in Dubai. This is my Dubai visa. Oh, no, but where?
Yeah.
I'm from India. I was like, oh, okay. So they get very confused because they're not sure if I'm 9/11 or 7/11. They're like, what is he going to do? Blow us up and then give us curry?
Yeah, the standard. I mean, that's the standard American thing. Is whenever you meet someone who might be an immigrant or just has a name that sounds kind of weird to you, you have to ask where are you from like 5 or 6 times to
Yes.
get. You have to go
No, but
down
where
into
you
deeper
really
levels.
from?
Where's your family from? It's like, yeah.
Where were you conceived?
Like, how exactly am I supposed to treat you, foreigner?
Yeah. Or be racist. Which
Exactly.
race should I pick?
Which
if
which stereotype are you the bomber stereotype or the Apu stereotype? I've got in my head. I need to pick one to interact
Yeah, if
with
they're
you.
not satisfied with your answer, where are you really from? Where are you really from? Where do you want to be from?
The only thing bomber about me is the jacket. I wear bomber jackets. I wonder why they call it that though.
World War II, right? Bombers, like they were wearing the jacket.
They hide the bombs.
They
That's
hide the
why.
bomb. No, that's a new. That would be better in like a parka, something big and like a winter coat.
All right.
Bomber jackets are from World War II because
They fly the bomber planes.
fly the bomber planes. Exactly.
wow.
Remember bombing from
didn't
planes
know.
and not on planes.
On planes.
Yeah, with planes. All right. So
I like as soon as I mention Middle East, we've just done 5 minutes on.
Yeah.
How long
Everything
was
else.
It?
Murad,
Within
you're
a
like-
minute we went to bombing.
You're like Murad, we're like, why don't you encourage more people to listen to you on the podcast? I mean, the podcast where I say all the horrible racist stuff that I know shouldn't say or think. Why don't you get people to listen to this?
Yeah.
Yeah. But
For our next meeting, I would like to invite you into my cellar.
that's right. That's the comedy cellar in Riyadh, and that's how they advertise it.
Well, maybe we should return the courtesy and get to introduce us a little bit so you know
Yes,
who
of
you are
course.
talking
Yeah.
to. I am Murat. I am doing comedy for 11 years. I started in Turkey doing Turkish. Then I moved to UK for 5 years. I lived there and I started doing English comedy over there. Then I came back here 1.5 years ago and I started the longest running English open mic. And we're trying to build the English comedy scene in Istanbul.
Listen, I want to say this on record. I'm really sorry I missed doing your show. And
It's
I promise I'm going to make it up to you. I'm going to come back. We're going to have a sold out show.
Thank you. I'm happy this is on recording.
Yes, if you're listening to this, you already missed the show that Nitinn didn't do, but you can go to the next one that he will do in the future when he does it. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we've been doing open mics, we've been doing lineup shows. Recently we started doing split shows. I mean, we didn't really start, but we announced and we are going to start. and we hope that some.
What's a split? Isn't that what they do in Bangkok? No, that's a different show.
That's that's,
Okay.
Yeah, we could do that probably. We'll probably get more audience for that.
Yeah. สวัสดีครับครับผมครับ
Yeah, that's,
What's a split show?
Split show is where you split the solo show. It's
two comics
it's
instead
two
of
comics.
one.
Nice. Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, we're slowly building up our minutes to go doing solo shows. Leon did his first solo show.
I've done a solo hour.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What is it? What did you call it?
I didn't call it anything. I didn't think anybody would care enough for me to give it a name, so I just sort of did it. It was fine, you know. It was good. I mean, it was like a lot of crowd work and stuff that I normally do because I just didn't want to write a lot of new material. I forgot how like tiring it can be though to actually stand up there for an hour and talk. I was like, God, this is like exhausting.
Yeah, I see this online. This is a new thing. Comics used do a lot of crowd work and share this online. I don't know how what kind of audience they expect to come for the next show if they do crowd work only.
So the thing is, I've actually done Istanbul in 2019. We had a sold-out show. It was really good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the audience in Istanbul. The thing about crowd work is I'm a big fan of crowd work. I enjoy improv comedy and crowd work. But I think it depends on where you are in your how many years are you in, because it does make you lazy. Once you start doing crowd work and it hits, there's something, it's sort of like a drug where you get really excited about one crowd work. And I've also realized nowadays people even the audience, they know the difference between a set that you've written and crowd work.
Yeah.
And the minute you hit a crowd work joke, there's so much respect that you get. They're like, oh man, this guy came up with this on the spot.
Yeah.
So that sort of makes you go like, oh, you know what? I don't need to write, but it's a very bad habit.
That's true. It gets you out of, like, that's exactly it. I haven't written in the longest time because I'm like, well, I don't really need to write. And if I write, it might not be funny. But if I do enough crowd work, it'll eventually be funny. So,
but
it's a drug.
The thing about crowd work is it's crowd work. So you always have to write. And I tell all the comics and everybody who attends is because if you don't write, then you have nothing to fall back on.
Yeah.
Because like I said, if the crowd is not that interactive, you're screwed. You have nothing.
Yeah.
So just keep crowd work as backup. A lot of people are doing it the other way around, which I think...
It depends. I think it depends on the comic. Like, I mean, Jesse Kirsten, for example. Even Sam Morrill, Mark Norman, they're really good at that.
Sam,
and it's, they're all great. But like, Jesse Kirsten especially, like that's her act, is just interacting with the crowd. And it's fantastic because it is all spontaneous, but it's not lazy in her part. It's actually the culmination of like 20 years of like experience.
Yeah, actually, it's not spontaneous all the way. Because you've got so many years of...
You have like it's a skill you develop for sure.
It's like a multiple choice game now. You have a couple of response ready on your belt anyways.
Like a comedy jukebox.
But you're also I don't think it's exactly that either, because you have to be open to what somebody gives you. Somebody might give you something really weird and you're just like, okay, let's go with it. Let's see where this goes. You know, that's also something you have to do.
That's one of the main rules of improv. Yes and.
Yes anding. Yeah, you're anding until
it works.
Until everyone's like, no, but we're leaving.
No, but calling 911.
Yeah, exactly. So Nitinn, you've done shows, as we were just talking, you've done shows in Saudi, you've done shows in New York, different crowds, and you were talking about how sometimes crowds give you different responses. What's the toughest crowd that you've had?
Wow. So I do a lot of corporate work. I do a lot of corporate shows. As a matter of fact, I'm here in Istanbul to do a corporate thing with a very big international company. So I think the toughest crowds are corporate crowds because they're not there to laugh. In a comedy club, you'll find pockets of people still giggling or, having a good time. So I think corporates, but then I always make it a point to sort of get into the corporate culture and making them laugh. Because once you can get through to them, because there's so many distractions in a corporate show, no matter how good you are, they're still waiting for the belly dancer.
Yeah, no, it's we talk about a tough act to follow. That's a tough act to preempt. It's like there's going to be a sexy woman on stage. Could you get out of the way with this bullshit about curry or whatever you're doing and just?
Oh, thank you so much, man. I can see.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
I like how you sprinkle the racism in that.
No, Do you know Dan Ninen?
Yes, I know Dan very well.
Yeah, he's a terrible comedian. He's awful.
Oh my God!
And you're much better than him.
Okay. Anyway, I like how he turned it around. What the white people.
So that's his joke. I get sushi with curry, and it's like you can't write something better than that. Anyway,
how many years you have in your belt doing comedy?
Man, so officially I've been doing this for 16 years.
Wow.
Unofficially a little longer. because when I sort of was growing up in Dubai, they didn't have a comedy scene. So I must congratulate you because you're also in an expat market, and for you to I'm a big fan of people like both you guys who are taking the initiative, because you're not following, you're leading. Sometimes you just don't wait and you just make your own scene, create your own scene.
Yeah.
So that's what happened to me in Dubai. People keep telling me, "Oh man, you're a pioneer," blah blah, and I was like, you know what? I just wanted a stage to perform, so I did it because I was selfish. So it's not I accidentally pioneered the scene, but that was not my intention. I think that's why it came from a lot of passion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I worked in every corporate job.
You started doing English comedy directly right off the foot?
Yeah. Because see, the thing about Dubai as a city, as a place, is the fact that you're actually performing to a world audience. There are so many expats in Dubai. When you're performing to an audience, you have an Indian sitting next to a Pakistani, a German, a Turkish guy, a Japanese guy. So you're sort of forced to write in a way where it is not alienating anyone.
Yeah.
It's a great.
And they're all talent expats, right? They're all software engineers.
They're all actually wealthy, whereas in Turkey it's mostly just people who've stumbled into teaching English, like I have.
Funny you mentioned that. That's one of the same scenes they have in Bangkok. I recently performed in Bangkok as well. It's the same scene.
Was that at the Split show or?
As the Split show. Yes.
I must confess, I don't know what you talk about when you are talking about Split
I'm going to
shows
show
in
you.
Bangkok.
I'm going to turn on a VPN and show you a website.
Yeah.
So as you said, like when you're working like with that international audience, let's say in Dubai where there's a lot of expats. I mean, Dubai is becoming like absolutely this hub for people from all around the world who are attractive and rich. Unlike here, which is kind of the opposite.
Thank you for the compliment.
But what's that like? Because I see what you're saying, that you can't just like write a joke about the Arab world. You can't just write a joke about, for example, being Turkish or the difference between like Turkey and this country or whatever. Because you have to do things that you know are going to hit with an audience that has all kinds of backgrounds, all kinds of.
So one of the good titles that I was quite happy to get from one of the magazines when they watched my show. They call me a glocal comedian. Globally local. Mm-hmm. And I think I make it a point, even when I performed in Istanbul, I made it a point to, I have this habit. I write 4 jokes just before I get up on stage. And I try my best to make it work. And I try to keep it as local as possible, just for the references, but not doing a complete local show. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's a good habit. It's good hygiene to sort of put yourself, in that, because as comics, I think you'll agree that until you put us in a spot to write, we will not write.
Yes, God.
But that excitement of, oh, you know what? I just wrote this joke a minute before I going up on stage. I'm going to make it work.
Yeah.
That is very exciting.
I think of stuff like the day of or the day before, and I practice it in my mind over and over, and I'm like, this is good. I'm going to try this. That's always something.
But to be able to understand what will work with an audience, I think, and I tell all the comics that, listen, don't worry about booking gigs. Spend your own money, invest, go to Edinburgh, the Fringe, go to festivals. Just be there. Yeah.
If we had any money of our own to spend, we would do that.
Man, can I be honest? I've reached now. Alhamdulillah, I'm in a good space. But initially, when I started, I used to save up to go to festivals. Mm-hmm. It's not that difficult. Yeah. Trust me. It's just the idea that nowadays, why am I going there? Am I going to get a gig? How much am I going to make? Yeah. You're sort of moving away. Like the Edinburgh, I don't know if you've ever been to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
I've been as a tourist, followed your advice and just go there to experience it. If I go there as a comic
you'll be, I'm telling you, the most humbling experience you'll have in your life. Like the talent, the people, and they teach you how to do comedy, and so it's absolutely amazing. Yeah. So I push people to do that. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, sometimes I think you've got to just do it for the craft, right? You're not if we gave a shit about money, we wouldn't be doing expat English comedy
you actually always do it for the craft, not sometimes. You should always do it for the craft because you will reach a point where you will not like the way you sound, and it's coming from a real space.
I'm here. I'm there already.
Where you're like, ugh, like you do your jokes, and I'm like, ugh, I gotta do this one again.
Yeah.
So I reached that point in my career.
You get tired of your own material. It's
Yeah.
like a piece of gum that you've already chewed the flavor out of. You're like, this is done.
The people are enjoying it, but then you're like, man,
I'm not. This is stupid. Why are you laughing at this? Yeah. Well, is that the same thing with corporate gigs though? Because it must be a very different environment. You're performing for these people who have kind of been ordered to go there by their manager or whatever.
In
and
daytime,
we're gonna laugh.
lunch
We're gonna have a
break.
great time.
Yeah.
We've got this guy for you. He's Arab or Indian or something. It's gonna be fun.
he's something.
He's something. Yeah.
He's a transformer.
And it's like, no, there will not be an open bar.
Yeah. Open bar.
Open bar solves a lot of problems.
That's the enemy.
That's
the enemy. So talking about corporate gigs. Sorry, what was your question again?
like how is that environment to work in? Because you said like you do it for the craft, right? But then I feel like a corporate gig is kind of like, to me, in my mind, it's the epitome of like, I'm being paid to be here by these people that don't really want to see comedy. They just want entertainment,
Yeah, you are like the clown version of comic.
But, you're still doing it for the craft, and that's just a different kind of room to do it in.
So I don't think I would highly recommend, if you can make corporate crowds laugh, you're a good comic. Because then you're not scared of anything. When you're performing to a corporate audience, you're dealing with so many things, and the fact that they're invited, you can't pick on them, you can't talk back, and all that. But I think I would highly recommend everybody do corporate shows, because a couple of things it does is it humbles you, and a corporate show will make you right. So what I do is whenever I pick up corporate shows, I do tailor-made comedy. I may sound like a sellout. But I am smart to understand that I need to fuel my passion. If I need to go to Edinburgh and spend a month there without getting gigs, I need to make money from these guys to be able to do that.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So all these young guys are like, oh, I'm going to quit everything and pursue comedy. Please don't. Don't be stupid. Just get a side job, do a side hustle, have enough money to catch a taxi to go to the open mic.
Yeah, step one is just being able to afford a taxi. That's levels of financial independence. That's right.
It's true because you need to be able to afford your passion.
No, absolutely.
It's a very smart thing you need to do.
You need to be able. That's absolutely
Even
right.
then, you are doing only comedy. You are a comedian if you do corporate gigs.
No, the thing is, so with corporates, there's what's exciting is there's a lot of things you can do. There's a lot of things you can try. And when, for example, I've done work for Microsoft, Google and stuff, so then it really pushes me to write and understand, things about, how they're working, the environment, and making it a bit more personal.
Right. Yeah. You want to kind of, if you're talking to a room full of software engineers, even if you're not a software engineer, you want to have like a thing.
It's
you want to have at least a couple of like, I see you guys, right?
Yes.
I get you.
Yeah, that's one problem I experienced. If you do full-time comedy, you slowly dissolve from the 90% of the people who are doing these jobs, actually.
Correct.
And you forget to relate to them.
Well, in this economy, they won't be doing those jobs for much longer. It's fine. It's like, so you guys are getting laid off next week, huh? All right, Facebook.
What's one big advice you can give us to comics who've never done corporate gigs before?
Do it.
Yes, thank you. All right, you heard the man. Get the people
All
from
right,
Akbank on the
Amazon,
phone.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
No, but I actually, on a serious note, I want to say that stop coming in the way of your own evolution. If you asked me 5 years back if I would do a comedy show online for people, I'd be like, fuck no, are you crazy? Then COVID happened. I've done 300 Zoom shows.
Really?
No, 300?
Yeah, initially I fought back, but I was like, no, this is not how it is. But then I realized that it's a beautiful thing I read somewhere, the only responsibility of an artist is to create. That's it. That's all you got to do. And if you're not creating and not doing all that, you're coming in the way of your own evolution.
Right. You're not even attempting to do this thing.
Yeah,
Which you could like. What are you scared of doing it? Are you scared of doing a Zoom show? Yeah, that's really something.
Because at the end of the day, if you see the corporates, they're people.
Right.
And our business is people.
Yeah.
Emotions, connectivity.
Yeah.
So what's the funniest multinational corporation? What's the Lockheed Martin, Raytheon?
I think you're asking me what's the most well-paying because you're putting that down on your phone.
I love to laugh at the good people at Raytheon.
If you're listening.
You ever know, man, you ever make a drone and that drone just bombs like I am, you know?
Yeah. Just stay up in the air.
Yeah. So Nitinn, how do you write material then? What's your inspiration? Trying to be that kind of local comic, trying to write for an audience. I mean, this is tough. As you said, you're writing for people from all kinds of backgrounds who are coming to see you. You're writing for people that might be on Zoom where there's no audience feedback, and that's why it's like brutal. You're writing for people who might be in corporates, and as you said, there's a lot of red lines you can't cross there. So how do you write?
I think more than writing, I think if you're getting up on stage, the one thing you need is a genuine intention to make them laugh. Mm-hmm. If that is really genuine, most of your jokes, even silences, will make them laugh. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Because I've seen comedians get up on stage and, you know what, they just come with so much attitude. Like, man, you know, I'm here performing. You guys are shit. I've got my payment already. I don't care if you laugh or not. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So, because, you know, most of us are doing this because it makes us happy. I'll be very honest.
Or at least it used to.
Till last week. But you know, I think, you know, in general, it's not that difficult.
Yeah.
It's quite simple.
I get that. I think that, I mean, as corny as this sounds, it really is about empathy, right? Like, when you care about the people in the audience.
Yes.
When you're like, okay, now I'm here with you guys. Let's do this. You know, let's be together. Yeah. That's when it goes well. When you're like together with them. If you're like, haha, you know, I don't care what you know, I'm a great comic, whatever. Then it gets to be like unbearable.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually been through corporate events where the comic is just like, you know, I'm better than you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, guess
and
what?
it's very common actually.
I want to take back all that stuff I said
comics.
about Dan. I want to take back all that stuff I said about Dan Nine, and if he's willing to give me a job at,
of course he's going to give you a job.
I would like.
I don't know if it's just.
He's Indian. He's going to give you a job.
I don't know if it's just Turkey or the people I attract, but like 85% of comics are the one we just talked about. Like they see themselves on a high place and just see others below them.
See, I don't blame them because what we do is
takes balls.
It's very egotistical, actually.
Yes,
it's very egoistic.
It's fucking powerful, man.
Yeah.
You think about it.
Yeah.
Here you are standing up on stage and you decide. Like when there are times when you're before the punchline, you take a breath and you look down. The audience is like, okay, he's gonna say it. He's gonna say it. That is very, very powerful, and it can go to your head.
Yeah, it really can. Like, and especially if you're the kind of person who is like you were looking for some sort of validation or like sense of love or sense of belonging or approval, and then you get it, and you get it from I have these people, and they yes, and it really can like completely turn you into a narcissist.
So don't worry about that. For people who are listening, even you guys, it's a phase. But get out of it as soon as you can, because then you'll start understanding that you are bigger than, you know, what's being. So I have this quote that when I do write a book, which is very soon.
Oh, cool.
I'm thinking of something where it says, I always used to put this quote saying, I'm not the product, I'm the factory.
I see.
And that's actually what I believe in. So when you start believing that you're not the product and you're the factory, there are two things that happen. You start doing open mics. You start putting out material because you realize that, so big dilemma. Should I put this bit out or should I do this more and then see how it goes?
Perfect it first.
And that's never going to happen.
I know.
5 years later, you're still doing the same joke. So the problem with that is internet. The good thing about internet is once you put it out there, you're forced to write new stuff.
Wow.
So
I think the difference between you and 90% of the comics we know is that you have an actual work ethic. I know that's not an Indian joke; it's just the truth. You know,
9 to 5.
But yeah, like, was it always like that for you? Did you always approach this being like, no, I'm gonna craft, I'm gonna hone my craft, I'm gonna be good at this, I'm going to be the factory that produces this stuff?
Yeah, before
I got to it.
Yeah, before I have a question. Do you have a special out there? Like you might be the first comic that might.
I have a few, but it's nothing online that's gone. But to go back to what Leon was saying, in terms of ethics, I'm not a perfect artist. I'm a flawed individual, and I've had issues in the past where, unfortunately, and I speak about it openly because I don't think there is, you got to take the power away. I come from a very, very interesting background as an Indian. There's nobody in my generations who is doing what I'm doing. Nothing to do with arts and craft. Nothing creative. They've always been into business and stuff. So when I started doing comedy initially, a lot of stuff happened my way. And then unfortunately, so I've stopped watching comedy now. Because I realize, because for people who do improv, they end up consuming that. And sometimes you don't know the line between whether it's your joke, is the thought original, is it not, is it this, is it that? So funny enough, I was speaking to a comic yesterday because he called me up saying, man, I did this joke, but I'm not sure if it's mine or not. And first of all, I applauded him because I said, you know what, that's very nice of you to be honest about it. And you're willing to, because that's a very tough situation to be in.
Yeah.
70% of the comics go through this, 20% talk about it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
you're not intentionally stealing, but you're like, there's a comic I like, and I've heard him do this premise, I think, and I can't quite remember.
It's happened to me.
Yeah.
It's really happened to me. And can I be honest? It was hell for me when people found out, when people bullied me, they trolled me. It was like I almost gave up comedy.
Am I funny, or do I just watch a lot of comedy and then recycle it in my brain?
And it was just literally just 2 references. So all I'm trying to say is that a lot of people beat themselves up.
Yeah.
And that's not the whole point of comedy. You just go there. Again, a genuine intention to make people laugh. I'm not trying to promote that, do stuff, but I had to go through a lot of therapy to realize why it happened. And I can share this with you very openly now because I want to. Is the fact that, sometimes what happens to us is success comes in a very big way. For somebody who is an introvert, a child who hardly spoke, suddenly gets so much appreciation. I was booking 2 gigs a night, and then I couldn't keep up, and that's when I tripped. I was like, man, how do I write new jokes within a span of 3 hours? I'm driving from one show to the other. How do I write? And you know how the people are. They're like, man, I heard this joke last week. Can you do 1 more hour of new jokes? I'm like, that's not how it works.
You have that factory mindset, but then demand goes up, and it's like that scene in Modern Times where all the machines are working full speed.
You feel
like,
burnout.
I can't do this. Yeah. Definitely. And especially like if you're kind of an introvert, like you said, and you felt that like hunger for like approval and validation, and then you start getting it, and you're like, no, I can do this. I'm really good at this. I can write jokes. I can do 2 shows a night, and you kind of push yourself to the max, and then eventually,
flying too close to the sun.
That's right.
Murad knows. We're not going to take names, but one of the comics is
Murad and Dan Nayan.
is doing my bits here in Istanbul. So,
who he is.
All right.
That's a big guy.
But if I big guy with a beard, half of Istanbul looks like that.
Yeah.
But if I do meet him and if I do discuss this with him, I'm going to tell him, I'm like, it's okay. But the idea is the faster you stop doing this, the better it is for you.
Yeah. It's not. Again, with that, it's like, again, we're not doing this for money, obviously. He and I, and you also. But like, it's like if you can't at least have that intention of doing your own stuff, I don't understand why you would do this, right? If you, it's different if you watch a lot of comedy and you're like, okay, these comedians I like.
Yeah.
And I kind of am I approximating? Sometimes I'll think of a bit and it's like, isn't there a bit like that from some comedian, that I've heard before, seen before? That's different from like, I'm just going to take people's bits. That's like, why are you even doing this then? Why don't you just like have a different hobby?
It's a big subject in comedy scene. People don't really approach, this craft is taking years. You've been in this business for 16 years and you just, sometimes you feel burnout. and people just take it easily, and not many people attach the same stigma of stealing to joke stealing to other parts of like if I steal your glasses, it's gonna be like criminal offense. But if I steal your jokes, it's just
a joke. It's just a sentence you said, but that sentence took you 16 years to write. You know, it's like, you know.
But it happened to me too.
I know.
When I go to UK, I started doing other people's jokes, but I took consent beforehand because they've never gonna be in UK, and I said I'm starting in open mics and I want to have this cycle of self-fulfilling prophecy with starting great jokes that you guys wrote, and I'm gonna translate them, I'm gonna try at them, and they appreciate it because I took consent, and they said we'll never be in UK. Try it and tell us if it's gonna work, and we understand if we are universal comics.
I think we've all done this maybe at one point or another. Like I'll be talking with some friends, right?
Yeah.
Or like Arab friends, Arab friends, Iranian friends, or whatever, and I'll make a joke, and I'll say to them like, please use that because I can't say that on stage. That's not a joke that's like in my repertoire of stuff I can say, but you could say. You know, that's different. That's like hanging out and like not exactly co-writing or writing together, but just riffing. You're riffing together. You're vibing and you're creating stuff with each other, and that's different.
It's going to happen more and more. Can I be honest? Again, don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating for it. I'm just saying it's inevitable because now I would say at least 50% of comics are moving towards observational comedy as a genre called observational. So right now, if we are sitting in this room, we're 3 comics. There's something happened. There's a light bulb falls, or there's I don't know, are you a fucking cactus? This cactus comes alive or something. We're all going to have 3 different perspectives. Now, here's my question. Who wrote that joke? We all watched that incident happen. So I'm doing the same joke in Dubai, you're doing it in US, and eventually one of us is going to go, that video is going to go viral, and you go like, shit, man.
That's it.
It was my joke.
It's the first one to go viral with an observation.
That's the gray area because you don't know what's... Can I be honest? Everything that we're thinking, somebody's already thought it.
But that's not stealing. That is kind of just parallel thinking. But on that note, again, Nitinn, how do you find yourself writing? What inspires you? What kind of situations do you draw from? Do you do observational comedy, or is it like? What's your process like?
So my process is something that I'm slowing down now because the whole idea to get your eyes and ears open all the time. From the time you land, from the time I was walking up the steps, I was looking at the elevator, I'm noticing. So I'm slowing down a little bit because what happens is there are 2 ways of doing this. One, you write a bit or you write a set. So the bits are all over the place. The bit is, me
a one-liner.
Yeah, being in this lane and seeing this guy sell these gloves with no cover on the fingers. That's a small bit I can do. But how does that become a set?
Right.
So
a set has a start and end point.
Correct.
It's like a story you tell that gets to the end, right?
A set is your story.
Yeah.
A bit is something which you can. It's bits.
Yeah. Anyone can do a bit.
Well, like bits are like modular, right? You can put them in any order. You can put one in, you can put one out, or whatever, and make the show that you want. But a whole set has a start and end point. It has like an opening joke and a closing joke. It has callbacks to things in the past that you talked about. It's a totally different thing.
I usually have lots of bits and try to fit them in a set.
Together. That's a great way to do things. But then sometimes what happens is we try to force the bit because it's funny. That's happened to me as well. And we all as comics, and I'm sure everybody listening and you guys will agree, we have this 1 or 2 jokes that never fucking work.
But it's more than 1 or 2, I'll tell you.
It's still fucking there.
The foundation of the set.
It's been 5 years, 6 years. They're like, nobody laughs at this, but one of these days, somebody's gonna laugh.
Sometimes you can't take it out because it's like a building block to the next. Like in order to get you to this level where you'll laugh, I have to take you through this where you're gonna laugh. Exactly. You're not gonna laugh.
So that's you. That's what I'm trying to say. That's you. Be honest to yourself and say, okay, this is how it's gonna work, or just be dishonest on stage and let everybody see.
Right.
How messed up you are, because people like that.
Done.
And now let's talk about your chemo.
I think people like it when you're like honest.
Oh, sorry, that's your real hair. Okay.
This is what it's like now.
I meant keema, mutton keema.
It's an audio only podcast. But like, what What kind of situations do you find yourself? I mean, is it just you going about your day and keeping your eyes and ears open, or are you like putting yourself in different locations when you travel and trying to like find common experiences of people there? You know, because it is hard writing from that local perspective. You know, both at the same time like rooted in a particular place, but also able to appeal to anybody who comes in and make it funny. You know? And you want a set that you can actually sorry to break you off, but like, you want a set that you can take to different countries too, right?
So the good thing about me starting comedy in Dubai is that I'm sort of trained to write two jokes, two versions of the same joke. One is for Dubai, one is for the Middle East, which is a cleaner, and corporates. And again, I want to bring back the idea of corporates is because when you write for corporates, it really pushes you to think outside the box. When you realize that the word fuck is responsible for this joke.
Yeah.
It's sort of important in this joke, but then you can't say the F word, and then you make it into falafel. And people laugh harder when you say what the falafel, because they know you're trying to say the F word, but you can't.
Yeah.
They enjoy that. So I think when you do corporates and when you do these places, you realize that you push your brain to come up with another version, which sometimes is funnier. Like what the falafel is funny.
Yeah, because it's not expected. Anybody could have just said "what the fuck," but
Exactly.
you put in the effort to do something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, sorry, I forgot your question again. I keep.
No, it's okay. I was just thinking like.
Yeah,
like
I think
what-
falafel.
drugs, man,
It's
drugs.
falafel,
Falafel, yeah.
Yeah, it was the falafel.
That's you're
So
working
sorry.
for all those pharmaceutical companies now. It's they give you a gift. They give you a gift bag. Here's some
Yeah.
stuff in here you might like.
you
I'll
like
take
to-
I'll
would you
take
like
a
to
mixed
see my-
assortment of pills.
Would you like to see my Johnson and Johnson?
It's
sorry,
just a small prick, and there's
last-
only one.
Yes, that's right. Have you been talking to my wife? No.
It's a single dose.
Yeah.
In the sense that you give it to her once a year, and she's good.
Once a year? Wow, what the fuck? That's
How often?
regular.
Don't you need to get a booster,
Yeah, just put it in the nose.
honey? Isn't it time for your booster?
Sorry, so one more time. What
No, I was
that?
saying like what I mean, because you want something that's local, but it can also be
Got it.
used for different corporations in different countries. Like, what are some of those like common experiences that you find yourself observing? Things that are because. We might have jokes about living in Istanbul, living in Turkey, being an expat in Turkey. I know people who have those jokes, and you cannot take those jokes out of this country. You go as far as Bulgaria, it's over, right? Because like
I have many jokes like that.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of because this is your environment.
Yeah.
This is what you're taking
Yeah.
in. Of course, you can have jokes like that. But like, what are some of those experiences that you found can translate between?
So I think the perfect word to use is translation. Translations are really funny. I think if you sort of keep your eyes and ears open when you land in a certain place or you go to a different city, you either make fun of the similarities or the differences. Many a times, like I said, language and words. I of course, Murad knows I used to do this bit. I'm going to stop doing it now because
The podcast is the last time you're hearing the bit. So subscribe.
no.
subscribe to
It's,
Patreon for the
it's not a
bit.
bit as such, but I was surprised to get such a big response on that the TRY joke. That I was trying to negotiate with somebody,
Can
but
I ask what year you wrote that joke, by the way?
to 2019 when I came here first.
Okay.
So it's
Yeah.
Interesting.
so I
Interesting.
did it first.
I get you.
No, so I just the thing is. You got to be open to whenever you travel. You should be open to understand the style of comedy that works there. Most of the people, unfortunately, like, so when you perform in London, I remember the first show I did in London. People are not laughing as much as I would want them, and then I got a review the next day in the papers saying, "Oh, he was hilarious." We were laughing out loud.
But that's how you're supposed to laugh.
Yeah, and and you won't believe I called up the guy who wrote the report and I said, "Man, I saw you. I've got video footage. You're not laughing." Like he's like, "Yeah, but that's how we are. We laugh inside." I was like, "It's called laugh out loud. Can you let the comedian know?"
I love that. You called up a guy. I checked the tape. You weren't laughing.
Yeah, you
Why
were
were you laughing? Listen.
Yeah.
You said laugh out loud funny. I don't see anybody laughing. Do you?
It's Turkish audience like that too. Like they laugh inside.
Yeah, they're enjoying it.
Yeah.
So they don't
Silently, without giving you any support.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you just need to sort of understand what you want to do in what city.
Yeah.
And man, please, if you're going there for a comedy gig, just put some effort.
Yeah.
Carry a notepad. Try not to talk into your phone. You look creepy as fuck.
Well, I think I do that with or without the phone. But
And you know what? Start writing with your hand. I've just started doing that again after so many years.
Yeah.
Really? It works better?
Journaling, like daily journaling by
Yes.
hand, it's the best.
You do.
Best.
So you know what happens is, I read this somewhere. I don't know if it's true, but I can vouch for it. Something about writing and not being able to erase it
Yeah.
is very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Because when you put a thought on your Mac, on whatever, and then you backspace,
Yeah.
you're killing the thoughts.
Yeah.
But so what happens when you write, you commit.
Yeah.
You know, when you commit and then you go like, you know what? Oh, this bit, I'm going to make it work. So yeah, just write.
Yeah,
Write
and just see
again.
where it goes. Like there's a book called The Artist's Way, and what that author recommends is doing 3 pages, handwritten, just stream of consciousness, no editing, no erasing,
Exactly.
nothing. Just wherever it goes, keep going. Like sometimes I'll do it and I'll accidentally put the wrong word or something.
Yeah.
because I'll like take a break and put like, oh, I didn't put the right word, and I just keep going with it. You know. I'm sorry. Just see where it goes. I'm dying. It's fine.
Let's wait to see where you go in the next couple of years.
The chemo is not taking effect, folks.
Guys, I'm killing it. And him.
So, but yeah, I mean, do you find yourself having to adjust a lot? Because sometimes what'll happen to me is like, I have different like I call it like, well, this is not another Indian joke. But there's like a spiciness. There's like a spiciness scale, right? I have like a spiciness scale, and I'm like, okay, we go from mild to hot, right? And I have jokes that I see are like I have jokes about like school shooters that have worked before,
of course they've worked.
but like, sometimes
Were they expecting it?
Were they sometimes
they exist. I think that's why it works.
Yeah, no, but like sometimes you'll go into a room and you'll see like, okay, this room is not prepared for that style of comedy. This room is like a mild spiciness room, you know.
You got to have your first 3 minutes. I say the word 3 because most of the open mics you don't get more than 5 to 6, right?
Yeah.
So I think your first 3 minutes is smart enough for you to gauge the audience. So there's 2 ways you can do this. One is either you take a set that you want to work on, and that's it. Or, so as a comedy audience, I always say, when you're doing corporates or you're doing open mics. So remember when we were growing up and our parents, they used to feed us medicine, which was not good for us. So they used to sort of go like, oh, look at the plane, look at the plane. So the audience is the same. So what we need to do is the medicine is what we want to say, but we have to sort of distract them with something else.
Right.
So what you sandwich your bits that you want to work into the stronger bits.
Right.
You know, because you have to get them on your side to listen. The idea is not to make them laugh. They will laugh on their own. Okay, this is one of my mentors, Maz Jobrani. He taught me this. I love Maz Jobrani. If he's
he's been in Istanbul a couple of times.
He's amazing. Well, he's a beautiful guy, man. So he told me that, you know, he told me 2 things. It's not the seats you fill, it's what you do with the seats that are full. And he told me is that don't make them laugh. They will laugh on their own. Make them listen.
Yeah. I think like the first 3 minutes you kind of need to get them on your side before you start doing spicier, like more risque material. I don't even mean like new material that you want to work on. I mean like jokes that are a bit like, you know, if we're talking about comics like Doug Stanhope or whatever, comics that are like not for general audiences usually.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to do bits like that, you need the first part of your set to like get people on your side and be willing to go with you further down.
There was a very beautiful testimonial which I think I received for a magazine in Kuwait when I performed. And I think it accidentally put in my head, this was in the beginning of my career, and I decided this is what I want to be. So the statement said that watching Nitinn Mirani is like watching your best friend telling you a story. And I still have it. I have the paper. It's on my wall. I have to keep reminding myself that that's the zone I need to be in.
That's the mission statement.
Because if I'm your best friend, I can get away with.
That's a great compliment.
Yeah, it's I think one of the best compliments I've received, and it's now become my career.
Mantra.
Mantra. That as friends, like I don't even need to crack a joke. If we are friends, I can make eye contact, and we're gonna giggle right away.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I like you and I'm rooting for you to be
Yes.
funny and I'm already on your side.
Yes.
That's the good audience, the one where they're on your side. That's when you can do stuff. Right. The audience that's bad is the one that's like, okay, well, what do you
People are guarded.
right? Yeah.
People are really guarded. Like, and like I mentioned, when you perform all over the world, you realize that they want to laugh, but they're very worried about who is looking at them laughing at what. So if somebody's laughing at your shooting joke, it's like, oh, is that kind of guy. So they're very worried about
People
so that,
check in with their friends to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the fact that many a times you catch that and you make a joke on it means you're aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think there is one measure like north to south, like spicy to not spicy. There is also something called raunchy and not raunchy. It's another part of being disgusting.
Right. How much sex stuff? Right. Well, that's the thing. It's like
graphic images.
In that first 3 minutes, right? You have to kind of get a mental framework in your mind of like, okay, this is this kind of audience.
Yes.
This is what they're going to work with me on. This is what they're maybe not, you know? And then you can change it throughout the night, maybe, but like, yeah, you kind of need to understand. Has it ever happened to you that you go in and you're expecting like, okay, this is an audience where I can be raunchy,
All the time.
I can be spicy, and then you're like, okay, no, they're not going to go to that. You know?
So the opening page of my book, when it does come out, is I've written that you become a comic the minute the joke doesn't work.
Well, thank God we're really
we're all
comedians.
So the minute that joke that you think is going to work doesn't work, how you come out of that situation will make you a comedian.
Yeah.
And you got to regularly sort of understand that you're going to go in. And that's why, once again,
after 11 years, I just started to learn how to ride the bump and just how to get out of it. I don't still know it, but I'm experimenting with it.
You just got to be okay with the fact that they're not going to laugh at everything. You know what we do is so I used to write jokes like, they're going to laugh here. The biggest mistake. Again, what Marjo Brani says, don't worry about when they will laugh. Just get them to listen.
Yeah.
You know, if you preempt that, they should be laughing here, because sometimes we're on stage and we get the most unexpected laugh.
Yeah.
At the most, and you're like, what the fuck? This is not even. You ask yourself, man, you think this is funny? And that's what happens when
they write the joke for you sometimes. You say something,
comedy
they
writes
laugh.
itself. Comedy writes itself.
By the way, we have a silent spectator for a couple minutes now.
I thought he was from the immigration, so I was like,
I just came back from the immigration.
I love Istanbul.
Would you like to introduce yourself a bit?
My name's
to our
Enes.
guest?
We haven't met. They know me. Yeah, we haven't met. My name's Enes. We do this stand-up comedy things in Istanbul.
Our guest's name is...
That's the best way to describe. My name is Enes. We do this stand-up comedy thing in Istanbul.
I couldn't get any...
Great. You sound just like a producer.
See how well it's been working.
With lots of money. You stand, you laugh. Okay, bye-bye. Nice.
I believe you're funny.
I'm hilarious, man.
I'm willing to buy into that premise,
Enes is like in this comedy business as long as me. I think 11 years now.
How does it feel to be called Enes and do comedy? Like, have you already picked up on that?
Yes.
Like, I hope you
try not to think about it. It's too simple.
I grew up in Sydney, so with my name in English-speaking place here.
What's your last name?
This is not working, is it?
That's your last name?
And
his last name is Enes. This is not working.
This is not... I hate that.
Thank you, man.
This last name is that like...
it is not working.
It's that,
it is not working.
It's that Jedi lightsaber sound,
But it's Yücel.
Yeah. So Enes Yücel.
Yücel in Turkish, Yücel.
Anus useless.
Oh my God.
Anus useless.
They used to call me an
must have
ass.
destroyed you. I'm sorry.
Bro.
I'm gonna change my name to Muhammad. That's less.
No.
Yeah.
We just keep it to Yücel Enes.
Still an ass?
Yeah.
That's
an ass.
That's that's your next special. But so funny. I sort of bring this up, but how does it feel though, man, to have a name like this and then be associated to comedy? Because people ask you like, is that your real name, or
were you
came
destined to do this?
Yeah.
I think I was, but that's why I came to Turkey, because in Turkish Enes doesn't mean an ass.
What does it mean?
It just means Enes. I think it's a name that it's an Arabic name actually.
Yeah, I know.
I grew up in Sydney, so that was a problem.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
they used to call me not only an ass, they used to call me Enes the penis. from Dennis the Menace.
Oh wow, Anus the Penis.
Penis the Penis. Yeah,
that's not a name. That's an activity.
that's that's.
You just got both covered.
To Enos
I
the
could
penis.
fuck your dick. Like that's kind of.
Yeah. And that's like, see, that's you know, and you became the comedians and not the people making that joke.
Yeah,
right?
no.
Yeah, they couldn't write better material. You had to.
Well, I had to live through it, so that's what made.
That's tough.
Yeah.
It's
really
tough.
tough.
It's tough. Yeah, yeah.
And when
You're-
you live 18 years in. There was lots of bullies in Australia.
But I mean, thank God you stuck with it, because my name is Leonid. Which is a Russian name. And when I moved to the US, Spasibo. And when you moved to the US, nobody could pronounce my name, right? So I just I went by Leon because
The professional.
Exactly, right. My dad legally changed his name from Gennady to Gene because nobody could pronounce it.
Say it again, Gennady.
Right, Gennady, and he changed his name from
That
Gennady
sounds like a
to
medicine you
Gene.
take for a sore throat.
That's
We well, I like my name, but I've got another name that's Muhammad.
Right.
So I could use that from now on, and I could like shorten that for Mo.
No, everyone does that now. It's
Yeah.
kind of cheating, don't you think? It's like, no,
It's like, Mo, no, I'm-
be Muhammad, be a full Muhammad.
Yeah, with a D and everything.
Yeah.
But as you were saying, I think it's like I don't remember where I heard this, but anybody can write a set and just do it. It's how you adapt on stage. It's how you vibe with the crowd. It's how you it's how you incorporate things and work with things that makes you a comic. Anybody could just write a set of jokes and come up and do them into a microphone. But it's like being able to adapt and kind of improvise, not really improvise, but go with the crowd and stuff.
But I think the audience, I don't know if you agree with me, but in the last 7 to 8 years, the audience has also evolved in terms of what they like in terms of comedy. If around 10 years back you ask somebody what kind of comedy you like, like, I don't know, I like this. And now they're like, I like dark humor, I like satire.
They're very specific now.
Right.
Yeah, they're very specific. So I think once that happens, you have to keep up.
Yeah.
So what happens with me is I pretty much take a skeleton on stage. So I have a basic idea which direction I need to go in, but I'm not stuck to. Oh, I'm going to do this joke, and then I'm going to do this joke.
As you said, they laugh here.
Yeah. So I think that the fluidity of this whole art form that we have now, it has evolved, by the way.
Yeah, and
some people who are not moving with evolution are left behind.
Right.
And they're like, oh, I used to be such a good comedian, now nobody laughs at my jokes because you've not moved on.
Right. If I came up, but guys, my wife, her cooking is sometimes I love Rodney Dangerfield, but like Rodney was from a different generation.
Yeah,
Bill Hicks was from a different generation. Yeah.
No, but I think even they're sort of evolving with whole the whole idea.
They're both dead, so they're not
Yeah,
evolving.
I think it's with all art forms.
Okay, yeah.
In soap operas, they used to pull drama from people listening other people behind doors and not hearing the last sentence they said before they hang up the phone. Now everyone is available every time. I mean, you can write a message to them on WhatsApp, and the whole narrative of living the life is changed anyways.
It's changed. It's very tough to sort of have so much. We have a lot of comedy. These WhatsApp groups, and I remember I was doing a joke in India, and I did the joke, and a day later that joke came back to me on WhatsApp. Wow. Now, how do you prove? Because WhatsApp is faster than me. Like, it just reaches, and then you do that joke. It's like, oh, that's a WhatsApp joke. It's like, fuck, like.
Yeah, I didn't steal it.
I wrote it, man.
Yeah.
Things have changed in comedy as well. It's not before.
Everybody's a comedian now.
With Rodney Dangerfield, like the times of Rodney Dangerfield, like in that time, I think 50 years ago, 40 years ago, it was like the comedy represents the times. So in that time, everyone was like, it was funny to hear a whining man.
Yeah.
Correct.
But
Correct.
now it's not.
Hey. Okay, the podcast is over.
You're not going to be Rodney Dangerfield. But now it's so like, if we're going to say the same premise for the comedy today, it represents the time. No one wants to listen to a whining man. So Rodney Dangerfield is outdated in that sense.
Like in Rodney's time, people could still afford to get married, so you would do jokes about marriage. You could afford to buy a house, so you would do jokes about your house.
And
it's different. Yeah,
It's all extreme. So either you are relatable, or you're not.
Or you're not.
Now there's nothing in between, because people go like, oh man, when I performed in Nigeria, I did this bit on my family, the family situation that I have. I swear to God, this Nigerian guy came. He's like, man, I want to invite you home. and come look at the situation. It's exactly the same. It's just that my mother says it in Nigerian. So you just realize that technically, if you just stay true to your voice, it connects. It's relatable. Human experiences are relatable, and that's what I sort of go with. Where it's like I said, haha, but also aha.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's the best. That's the best type of comedy. Yeah. Not just where you're saying something that's kind of shocking or whatever, but you're actually getting people to think about something.
That's exactly
the best.
what I was gonna say just a moment ago. That it was like now it's changed into like before it was about what you were saying, but now it's not about.
Tuz Biber FM.
Hello, can I see your passports, please?
All right, welcome to the Passport Comedy Podcast. I'm Leon Sandler, and today I'm joined by my co-host
Murat Gençoğlu.
and our guest.
Nitinn Mirani.
Yay!
All right,
Welcome.
that's right.
You guys forgot my name, did you?
Yeah, I was like, he's gonna tell me if I just robbed
I
him.
tattooed your name actually to my
that was
forearm.
you?
No, this is the trick. I'm like everything. I'm not gonna add because everything I need to know he'll tell me on the podcast. So Nitinn, where are you from? Could you tell the audience where you're from, and could you give the audience a little bit of background about yourself?
Sure. Google me.
Yes.
No, okay. So
How do you
basically,
spell your name?
that's the easiest way. Basically, I'm from Dubai. I grew up in Dubai. I'm Indian, so I'm a Middle East. I am an Indian from the Middle East.
Cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That was my time. You've been a great audience.
That was it. That was the point of Passport Comedy Podcast.
If you want to see more of Nittin's comedy, find out how to spell
I could
his
feel
name.
your assholes go
Yeah.
as soon as I said that.
An Indian from the Middle East, and there's nothing more I can say about that as a white guy.
I can blow up your internet.
With
And provide tech support after.
After
right,
blowing
tech
up.
support or just constant spamming of comments for cute babies. No, we're gonna cut that.
As a matter of fact, one of my jokes when I
Sweet baby girls.
when I perform in the US, one of my opening jokes is that whenever I fly into New York or the US in general, they look at my passport and they say, "Oh, So he's like, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Dubai." He's like, "No, but where are you from?" I grew up in Dubai. This is my Dubai visa. Oh, no, but where? So I'm from India. I was like, oh, okay. So they get very confused because they're not sure if I'm 9/11 or 7/11. They're like, what is he going to do? Blow us up and then give us curry?
Yeah, that's the standard American thing is whenever you meet someone who might be an immigrant or just has a name that sounds kind of weird to you, you have to ask where are you from like 5 or 6 times to get, you have to go down
where
into
you
deeper
really from?
Where's your family from? It's like, yeah.
Where were you conceived?
Like, how exactly am I supposed to treat you, foreigner?
Or be racist.
Exactly.
Which race should I pick?
Which stereotype? Are you the bomber stereotype or the Apu stereotype? I've got in my head. I need to pick one to interact with.
If they're not satisfied with your answer, where are you really from? Where are you really from? Where do you want to be from?
The only thing bomber about me is the jacket. I wear bomber jackets. I wonder why they call it that though.
World War II, right? Bombers, like they were wearing the jacket.
They hide the bombs. That's why.
No, that's a new. That would be better in like a parka, something big, and like a winter coat.
All right.
Bomber jackets are from World War II because
They fly the bomber planes.
Fly the bomber planes, exactly.
Oh, wow.
Remember bombing from planes and not on planes?
On planes.
Yeah, with planes.
Nice.
All right. So
I like as soon as I mentioned Middle East, we've just done 5 minutes on. How long
Everything
was
else.
it?
Murad,
Within a minute, we went to bombing.
You're like Murad, we're like, why don't you encourage more people to listen to you on the podcast? I mean, the podcast where I say all the horrible racist stuff that I know I shouldn't say or think. Why don't you get people to listen to this?
Yeah.
But
For our next meeting, I would like to invite you into my cellar.
that's right. That's the comedy cellar in Riyadh, and that's how they advertise it.
Well, maybe we should return the courtesy and get to introduce us a little bit so you know who you are talking to. I am Murat. I am doing comedy for 11 years. I started in Turkey doing Turkish. Then I moved to UK. For 5 years, I lived there and I started doing English comedy over there. Then I came back here 1.5 years ago and I started the longest running English open mic. And we're trying to build the English comedy scene in Istanbul.
I want to say this on record. I'm really sorry I missed doing your show. And I promise I'm going to make it up to you. I'm going to come back we're going to have a sold out show.
Thank you. I'm happy this is on recording.
If you're listening to this, you already missed the show that Nitinn didn't do, but you can go to the next one that he will do in the future when he does it. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. And we've been doing open mics, we've been doing lineup shows. Recently we started doing split shows. I mean, we didn't really start, but we announced and we are going to start. And we hope that
What's a split? Isn't that what they do in Bangkok? No, that's a different show.
That's
Okay.
Yeah, we could do that probably. We'll probably get more audience for that.
Yeah. สวัสดีครับครับผมครับ
Yeah, what's
a split show?
Split show is where you split the solo show.
It's two comics instead of one.
Nice. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, we're slowly building up our minutes to go doing solo shows. Leon did his first solo show.
I've done a solo hour.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What did you call it?
I didn't call it anything. I didn't think anybody would care enough for me to give it a name, so I just sort of did it. It was fine, it was good. I mean, it was like a lot of crowd work and stuff that I normally do because I just didn't want to write a lot of new material. I forgot how like tiring it can be though to actually stand up there for an hour and talk. I was like, God, this is like exhausting.
Yeah, I see this online. This is a new thing.